I noticed the room because it wasn't doing anything. That sounds strange, but that's the only way I can explain it. If it had been locked or dark or obviously out of place, I might have questioned it sooner. But it just sat there at the end of the hallway, door half open like it had always belonged. I live alone in a small apartment. One bedroom, one bathroom, kitchen, living room. Straightforward layout. I've lived here for almost 3 years. Long enough to know the shape of the space in the dark. Long enough to walk from bed to the sink without thinking. There is no extra room. Or at least, there wasn't supposed to be. The first time I saw it, I was half asleep. I'd gotten up for water sometime after midnight. Eyes unfocused, brain still drifting. The hallway light was off, but the ambient glow from the street leaked in just enough to outline the doors. Bathroom on the left, bedroom behind me. And at the end of the hall, another doorway. I stopped walking. It wasn't dramatic. No spike of fear, just confusion. The quiet, unsettling kind that makes you check yourself before you check your surroundings. I stood there holding my breath, trying to remember if I'd ever seen it before. The door was old, same paint as the rest of the apartment. Same cheap handle, same scuffed frame, nothing about it stood out. That's what bothered me most. I told myself I was tired, that I'd miscounted doors in the dark, that my brain had filled in a gap that wasn't really there. I went back to bed without opening it. In the morning, the hallway was normal again. No extra door, just the bathroom and the bedroom, clean lines, familiar space. I laughed it off while brushing my teeth, embarrassed by how easily my mind had played tricks on me. Still, I checked the lease later that day. 1 bedroom, no storage room, no office, no bonus space. I didn't think about it again until the following night. The door was back. This time, the hallway light was on. I stood at the bedroom threshold and stared straight at it. No shadows, no half-seeing. It was there as clearly as anything else in the apartment. Same position. End of the hall, slightly open. I approached slowly, noticing small details I'd missed before. The hinges were quiet. Recently oiled, maybe. The gap between the door and the frame was narrow, deliberate, like it had been left that way on purpose. I leaned closer. The room beyond was dark, but not empty dark. It had depth, the kind of darkness that suggests space rather than absence. I didn't go in. Something about it felt private, not forbidden, just occupied. As if entering without being invited would be rude. I turned off the hallway light and went to sleep with my door closed. Over the next week, the room appeared only at night, never during the day, never when I tried to show it to anyone. Friends came over, everything looked normal. I even took photos down the hallway. No extra door, no distortion. But every night, sometime after midnight, it returned. Sometimes was wider open, sometimes almost closed. Once, I swear the light inside was on just barely. A dim, yellowish glow, like an old bulb struggling to stay awake. That was the night I heard something. Not a voice, not movement, just the sound of weight settling, like someone shifting in a chair very slowly, very carefully, trying not to be noticed. I stood frozen in my bedroom, heart pounding, listening. The sound stopped. The door didn't move. I stopped sleeping much after that. Lack of sleep does strange things to your sense of time. Nights stretch, thoughts blur. I began to feel like the apartment itself was tired, like the walls were holding their breath until morning. One night, driven more by exhaustion than courage, I stepped into the hallway and spoke. "Hello?" My voice sounded wrong in the space, too flat, like the hallway didn't know what to do with it. There was no response. But when I turned back toward my bedroom, I realized something had changed. My bedroom door was closed. I don't close it. I stood there for a long time, staring at the familiar door, suddenly unsure which room was mine. After that, things escalated quietly. I started finding small details out of place. Furniture shifted by inches, a light left on that I was sure I'd turned off, the faint smell of dust and old fabric lingering in the air when I woke up. And sometimes, late at night, when I passed the end of the hallway, I caught glimpses of the room's interior. It was furnished. Not fully, just enough. A chair, a small table, a lamp, all facing the door, as if arranged for someone who spent a lot of time waiting. The last night I saw the room, the door was fully open. The light inside was on, and the chair was empty. But the indentation was still there. Fresh. I stood at the threshold, every instinct screaming at me to step back, to shut the door, to pretend none of this was happening. Instead, I noticed something on the table. A set of keys. My keys. I did not go inside. I don't know how long I stood there, but eventually the light clicked off on its own. The door began to close slow and careful, like it didn't want to wake me. I went back to my bedroom and locked the door. The room hasn't appeared since. The hallway has been normal for weeks now. I sleep again. I function. I tell myself that whatever it was, it's over. But sometimes, when I unlock my apartment at night, I hesitate, because my keys feel newer than I remember. And every so often, I catch the faint smell of dust and old fabric drifting from a place that no longer exists, like a room that learned where I lived and decided it didn't need to wait anymore.